After just under 2,000 activities recorded and 1,300 recovery scores, I'm cancelling my Whoop. My name is Chris. I'm a gym rat, personal trainer, and person who likes to compete in triathlons. And I'm going to be explaining and telling you all about my journey over the last 4 years of using Whoop and why I feel like they've done us dirty with the Whoop 5.0. Whoop helped me get out of a rut when COVID ended. In June 2021, I was at my lowest. I had lost a huge amount of muscle tissue. I was as unfit as I've ever been in my whole entire life, and I needed something to kick my ass back into gear. I found out about Whoop and my whole life changed forever. It kept me accountable with my sleep, it kept me in check with my workouts, and it provided data that I'd never had before. And if you know me, I'm an absolute nerd when it comes to the statistics. The Whoop 5.0 is set out to be smarter, smaller, by like 7%, and now provides things like ECG, better sensors with their two models. One is the MG, which stands for medical grade, and the other one is like peak or life, or I don't know. And if you've been using Whoop 4.0, you think, great, unbelievable. They promised us free upgrades if you're a loyal member. They promised us to be able to integrate into their ecosystem with their bands and so on and so forth. You've been scammed, my guys. The Whoop MG, which if you're using the Whoop, you obviously want the best one, now comes in at just under 400 quid for the whole entire year. You do get a free band, but it costs you €89 as a sign-up fee. And if you don't pay the premium price, you don't get all the bells and whistles. It's simply a paywall barrier for data that you basically already have on your wrist, but they're trying to spruce it up to get a little bit more spondoolies for the company. That new headquarters they built ain't cheap to run. My experience with Whoop using it for resistance training is actually quite bad, but that's not why I got the Whoop in the beginning. When it comes to resistance training, they do have something called a strength trainer, whereby you click start at the start of a set and then stop at the end of a set, and by some way or another it measures your heart rate and roughly tells you how intense that set was. My experience using this feature wasn't great. I found my app crashed after logging a load of workouts, and to be honest with you, when I'm in there under a squat bar, the last thing I want to do is remember to click start and then remember to click stop when I'm trying to strap my weightlifting belt into place and I'm trying to make sure that I'm mentally psyched up for this massive squat that's about to occur. It really felt like a half-baked feature. I do appreciate the effort though, because a lot of Whoop members are in the gym lifting weights and they did their best. So you know what, I can tip the hat, but ultimately it is a laughable feature. The reason I know it doesn't do an accurate job is because most of my training takes place in the gym, and when I hit a leg session that lasts 90 minutes and I'm almost dead on the floor going to failure on every single exercise, and then I check where I rank in Ireland on the strain score, and I've seen at the very top of the list is some old geezer who's done functional fitness and golf for an hour and he's managed to get a top score. So the Whoop really punishes you for being fit. If you're a healthy, fit person, pushing your body to its limits, whether it's running, whether it's in the gym, but your heart is conditioned and doesn't have to go as high on zones, well then the score and the intensity of your workouts isn't going to match those who are unfit. I've even tested this by training early morning in the pool, then gone ahead and done a gym session, and then I've done a group run with my clients in the evening, all to find out I wasn't even in the top 100, and a huge amount of that top percentile was dedicated to, again, people who had got Whoop and they've done things like golf, walking, hiking, and things that, yes, are strenuous, but don't really make sense when I'm looking at it thinking, damn, I'm after burning almost 3,000 calories in a day, yet this old fella is just wiped me off the floor. Maybe I'm just salty because I never managed to get number one. Actually, you know what? I'm definitely just salty because I never made it to number one. Another massive flaw I found with the Whoop is that because I do triathlon training and I'm open water swimming, I'm cycling on the road, and I'm doing a lot of running, unless I have my phone with me, all of that data is absolutely useless. It doesn't have a GPS tracker in the Whoop device itself. So they build a fitness wearable for athletes with no distractions because there's no screen. But I have to carry my phone everywhere if I want to actually get decent data to represent my workouts. And I have to click start and stop at the beginning and end of every working set. So it doesn't really sit too well with me there. If the Whoop 5.0 brought out a GPS tracker, I think everyone would have bowed down to Whoop and kissed their feet, because they're listening and they're aware of the types of activities that people are doing. But again, they've opted to go down a more lackluster kind of road where money is always at the forefront. It's also very frustrating not having a GPS within a triathlon sport, because in order for me to track my swims accurately, I have to put my very expensive phone in a piece of plastic that floats that I drag along when swimming. And then if I want to then transition over to the bike, I have to not only get changed mid-event, but then I have to get my phone out of the tow float, stick it into a pocket of mine, which costs me seconds. And I just think it is absolutely piss poor of design from the very, very beginning. I also absolutely hate how these Whoop bands fade when you do swimming in a pool. In fact, you can see the color difference there from the inside of the strap to the outside of the strap, based on the chlorine of the pool just absolutely shredding the color off it. And you know what? I wouldn't mind buying a new one every couple of months just to change up the color or change up the style, you know, for 30 quid, 40 quid, maybe even 50 quid, 60 quid. 90 fucking euro to get a piece of fabric and a fake piece of gold. Are you kidding me, man? My final thoughts, because I don't want to drag the arse off this video making it really negative, because there are people who can still get some use from Whoop. I just don't think it's going to be those top tier athletes. I believe it is a glorified heart rate tracker that is disguised and hidden behind a paywall subscription. And I think that really says it all. When you look at other brands such as Garmin, they really make you pay for that entry fee. But that's it. They don't want to hold you prisoner to that monthly subscription. And I think looking back to 2021, it was always going to be money driven from the very start. It's okay for companies to make money, but it's not okay for companies to rip the arse off loyal clientele. They promised current Whoop members would be due a free hardware upgrade when it did come along, yet they lied straight through their teeth. While I was born at night, I wasn't born last night. So it is with a heavy heart, after 4 years, dodgy tan lines, weird indentations into my arm, I say goodbye to Whoop.